Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Go-To Food Podcast, brought to you by Blink, the UK company. They're revolutionising the POS game. And today we're delighted to be joined by, well, one of the most influential figures in modern British cooking, a man who, after a micro midlife crisis, turned to cooking and learned his trade in Michelin kitchens before finding his true calling whilst working for a BBQ master, Adam Perry-Lang. Beautiful man. At Jamie Oliver's Barbacoa. I know one of your great places used to eat as a younger man. And since then has been behind some of the most famous restaurants in London. Pitt Cue, Smokestack, Temper, and now runs Simplicity Foods, which is a whole 360. We're going to get into all this. It's the wonderful Neil Rankin. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
You're looking gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You look like you haven't eaten yet today.
I haven't, no.
There you go.
Well,
Secrets.
It's the secret, yeah.
What are we drinking today?
Well, Freddie, funny you should ask. We got sent
Paloma.
this little thing. Yeah, Paloma. Called Regal Road. A friend of yours.
Friend of ours.
Friend of ours. Which I believe is an Australian aperitif.
It's an Australian
fundamentally a
vermouth.
vermouth.
Yeah.
And as you know, we got sent a load of this.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this. It's not going to be a short, boozy cocktail. It's going to be a long, drinkable cocktail.
Or you
Nice.
just give him the Regal Rogue.
Or you can have the Regal Rogue straight
I
up.
love Regal Road.
Oh,
Do
you
you?
know the Regal Rogue?
Yeah, we used to, because we in the third Temper, we actually did a vermouth bar, so we had like 40 different vermouths.
And
So Regal Rogue were really good. They had the rosé one, which is lovely as well.
Yeah.
yeah, really.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Listen,
marketing
budgets are pinched. They just sent us the one bottle.
No, they're great.
Yeah, good. Let's have some of that with some tonic water or something. Does that sound alright? Would you like a little ginger splash in it now?
Yeah. I'll go with what you're offering. That's lovely.
You
It's
didn't get
actually
into
delicious.
the industry as a chef properly till basically you're 30. But
Yeah.
your first job was actually as a 17-year-old in Burger King. What were you doing there?
I don't know what I was doing. I didn't.
Earning some
I
cash.
didn't. I didn't do very well at school. I did all right. I was quite smart, and I was quite good at physics and maths. Things, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't apply to university at all. I just thought, I'll get a job. I'll go into Burger King at the Guile in Edinburgh. It's awful.
Beautiful.
I was on specialities, which is
Yeah.
like the good bit. You know, I was doing the bean burger and the chicken royale.
Come on.
So I was promoted, I think, because the manageress there fancied me. So
Yeah.
I got on a decent section.
Nice.
And I never had to clean the floor. So I was having a great time.
Yeah, you were living the dream.
Yeah, but my parents had sent me in my last year to this boarding school out of punishment because I wasn't very good at the other school.
So they thought, we'll teach the little fucker. We'll,
Yeah,
we'll give him a
literally
private
did work.
education.
But
for a year.
they applied
That'll
for
learn
university for me.
Right, okay.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And they just took me into a room and was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm in a band. I like music. And then they were like, they got me a audio technology acoustic science degree in Salford. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, where's Salford? It was like in Manchester. And I was like, I'll do that.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Manchester, mid-90s.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm there.
Great timing from you, yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
So I went off and did that.
And became a sound engineer. Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, it was mainly, it wasn't really training to be a sound engineer. It was more like the sort of physics. So I would like build like acoustic baffles and rooms and buildings and also speaker systems and stuff like that. It was all like Fourier synthesis and stuff like that. So actually, you know, talking about like A to D conversion and all that and the mathematics behind it.
Oh, no, you lost me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I lost
Let's
a
just
lot
say
of
sound
it.
engineer.
Yeah, I lost a lot of it because I was in Manchester in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it wasn't all going.
there wasn't a lot of it going in.
Can I ask one Burger King question?
Yeah.
How much, because I've always been suckered in by the flame grilled tagline. Are you doing any cooking in there?
Yeah, they actually do. I mean, it does go through the thing. There was a flame.
It's getting licked
not
by a
really,
flame.
I mean, it's a kind
like
of
a
flame,
toaster.
isn't it? It's like a rotisserie thing
Okay.
that goes through. It's that, you know, it's like a sort of pizza oven thing
Yeah, yeah,
that,
okay.
that goes through.
So it's not.
It's not.
Listen, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. And they sort of spit at you. I only did a little bit because that was the worst section because they sort of come out hot and the fat sort of jumps up and you get lots of little
Yeah, right.
fat marks.
Shit, it sounds brutal. At what point then do you decide, right, I've got my physics degree, I'm doing a bit of, sound engineering. I actually want to open a sandwich shop, a bit like your great mate Max Halley,
Yeah.
outside of an industrial park in Glasgow, of all places.
Bells Hill.
Yeah.
So my parents lived in Australia at the time, and I used to go out there in summers during uni. And there was this place in the city. They had quite a lot. It was called Mr. Bird's MYO. It's like a make your own sandwich concept. Really cool. So you go in there, you pick a roll, you walk around. There's all the ingredients like a sort of open buffet, and you just fill up
You do
your
your
sandwich.
own?
Yeah, you do your own. It's incredible.
Cool.
And I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
So for me, as being a sort of fussy person, I don't like the initial, I go into a place and I have to pick. I don't like that because there's too, I think about it too long.
Yeah.
I don't like the urgency of it.
Yeah.
So for me, this was like the most perfect thing.
Wow.
And I came back, meandered on it for a while because I'd been working as a sound engineer for about 3 or 4 years and not earning much money and working really hard. And I was like, look, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with the guy who owned the franchise. He wanted to do it in London. I was like, I've got a great place to do it in Glasgow. I don't think he really understood what Bells Hill was.
No.
So I see you're
it's
London.
not-
I raise you an industrial estate in Glasgow.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not exactly Piccadilly Circus. But it went really well. The first one we built from almost nothing. It was the only sandwich bar of decency on a huge industrial estate. So you had like Virgin, Media, sort of like all the sort of the Ansophone things.
Yeah.
You had BT, you had big Hilton Hotel, but they just did like sort of Hilton food. And all these sort of things. I think my wife actually works for a whiskey company. I think they have the big bottling plant. So you had loads of people there and not much things. So it worked really well.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter what I can open, to be honest, but this was a
It was
really
half
good
decent.
concept.
Yeah.
I did that, sold that for quite a lot of money, and sold it to somebody. Then their brother opened a franchise with me in central Glasgow, opened another one in central Glasgow, opened one in Edinburgh with a franchise. So I was just getting this franchise fee in from all these things, so I wasn't doing anything. And then some guy from London, a RBS guy, said, I want to do it in London. And the guy from Australia put me in touch with them, and I opened one in the stock exchange in Paternoster Square.
Cool.
Oh. How did that go?
Really well.
Yeah.
Then we opened one in next to Nobu in Mayfair. It was a little one, bit too small, but was busy. Then opened one in Houndsditch, which is next to the big tower with what do you call it?
Centre Point.
Centrewood. Yeah, so near that, on that road. Actually, near where those sandwich guys are now, the thingy.
Yeah,
the
sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
Near them. And then 2008 hit. Financial crisis.
Fuck us.
Nobody wanted sandwiches.
Everybody moved out of that one. So we had a big building, it was a Bank of Scotland building or something like that. They moved all the staff out. The one in the stock exchange obviously didn't go well.
No.
So that was our sort of bread and butter, and then the thing. So that sort of like seeped in. We went insolvent, and I lost the whole thing.
Oh.
Cool.
And then I sold the Scottish franchise for not much money, but a little bit of money, a little bit of pocket money.
Yeah.
So did that trigger the sort of midlife crisis a bit?
Yeah, hugely. I mean, I was in a bit of a sinkhole personally, because I'd worked really hard, and it's that thing of this was successful. You know what I mean? These were successful. This had opened. We didn't open a restaurant. We didn't open a sandwich bar, and it was shit, and then open another one and another one,
Yeah.
as some people do. It was like it was busy. It was queued out the door. There was things. I was taking photographs of it, and there's people just having a great time.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's all gone, and you're like,
So tough.
that's hard.
Yeah. And through no real fault of your own.
Yeah. And I didn't have any job to do. I was like, what the hell do I do? I can't go back to being a sound engineer. I'm sort of gone past that now.
Yeah.
I won't know what the tech is now, so I'll sort of be behind that. I applied for a job at Pret. They didn't return my call.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this is like a deep, like that was a sinkhole.
You're
I
not our
was like,
kind of sandwich guy.
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
It'd been gone. It's good to get involved that early on in the prep days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to get a job. I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I had rent to pay. I had all this
So
other stuff.
did you then go work in a French restaurant, or did you go cordon bleu? What was first?
French restaurant first. I wanted to see it. So I was living in Surbiton at the time. And there was a restaurant called the French Table, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Eric and Sarah, who own it, amazing. I still sort of speak to them occasionally now. And I'd just gone for a nice meal in there with my partner at the time, and I didn't understand chefing. I knew I wanted to work in food. I knew I'd sort of touched a bit of food with it. I'd got into sort of home cooking. I was a bit like those sort of like MasterChef people. Like, oh, I really, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
trying to make a fancy steak and dress it nicely at home and all that sort of stuff. But not really thinking like this could be a career shift. The idea was really that I could work in a restaurant for a couple of years and then open a restaurant. Just get that information. I didn't really want to be a chef. I just thought I'll get that information. And then rather than opening a sandwich bar, which I used to do, a new business, I'll just open a restaurant and I'll enjoy it more. And then I just got into it. I worked for them. I was shite. I don't know how they put up with me. I was just on the larder. I did a course at Gordon Ramsay's cooking school, like a cordon bleu thing. And then during that, I worked for Nuno Mendes. He was doing that loft supper club thing, at his house. And it was that was before sort of social media. So I just emailed him, which I wouldn't do now.
No.
I would feel too, I don't know, I'd feel bad. I'd feel weird about doing it. But I just emailed him, I think, and went, I'm a chef. I didn't say I was 30 years old. I'm just at cookery school. I've worked in a French restaurant. I'd really like to come in and just learn from you. I can just buy your shopping, do whatever. And he was like, absolutely. And it's sort of just me and him in his house cooking for all these amazing chefs coming in, and him just because he had to sort of teach me because I was the only person there. I almost burnt his house down making this mushroom sauce that he made. It just went on fire, and of course there's no...
You haven't got a massive extraction.
No, it's just like a home thing. So we had to take it out, and it was like...
Christ.
That would have been bad, but he sort of forgave me for that. But it was just like working with him and getting
It must have been unbelievable, because A, he's an amazing cook, but B, those were quite legendary supper clubs. They were sort of pushing a whole new type of food in London. Right?
I mean, it's mental. He wouldn't have made any money. I don't know how much money he made from that, because he would just he'd go to Borough Market, buy all this expensive stuff, and we'd have a set menu, and then these people would arrive, and they were all industry people. So like me in a restaurant, you'd go, oh, just give him a bottle of wine. I'm just going to do this and do this. I don't really know if he made any profit from those things, but we had a wild time, and it was such a cool experience. Yeah. And just watching his sort of creative flow on how he's trying to construct a dish, how he's trying to build it, how he's not happy with it, and his persistence and stuff was really good for me.
So cool.
Were you making any tricky dishes? I mean, Ben worked from briefly and said he made the craziest dishes ever.
But
it's mad, yeah.
I don't know if it was the same, but there was a cauliflower and strawberry one he tried to make work. Never made it work. No, I don't know. I don't know if he's made it work now, but he basically was like, "This is gonna work." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna tell Nuno that at that stage."
But I don't know.
I was like, "I'm not confident about this," but it never really took off when we had it. But yeah,
amazing.
Apparently, you called up a recruiter then and say, "Send me to the fucking toughest kitchen you know. I want 18 hours. I'm 31 years old. I want to be beaten up."
So basically, I'd gone to Gordon Ramsay's cooking school, and I wanted to work at Gordon Ramsay after that. And the cooking teachers there were sort of against it, and they were like, look, fucking hard, and you're a bit older, you've had this thing. But my perception was completely different. I was like, look, I didn't look at it as being brutal. I was a bit older, I could take it. I've been through some tough scenarios. Yeah. I knew I had to get from A to B faster than anybody else. And I knew I wouldn't get that by working 5 hours a day. I wanted to get up and do it. I'm giving up my career for this. I'm working for 21 grand. I've gone down from an executive salary to this without much backing. I haven't got a huge bank account or anything. So I have to do this in record speed.
Yeah, they do it quick.
So I have to learn the brutality, it's just a time thing for me. It's like 16 hours a day, you multiply that by the amount of people, or 19 hours a day or whatever, sometimes 19, 20, sometimes more if you're shit. And you multiply that as the time that you do 5 days a week, you can get there faster. If you want to learn a language, you do it all day, every day. Doing an hour a day, it's going to take you but if you immerse yourself in it, you can get there faster.
Do an intense course,
and you need that in this. And I think that was where I knew I was going to get it. And also, I wanted a little bit of the because I needed to push myself. I knew I would just stagnate otherwise.
Yeah. So what were the places that they kind of suggested?
He was just right away. He was like, I don't know. Because a lot of them weren't going to take me because I wasn't experienced enough. So you needed a place that was semi-quiet but had a good reputation but would want people, so it was harder to get. So Penny Hill Park was the suggestion. Michael Wignall back then.
2 stars, right?
2 stars, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
For what it was, for what it did.
How brutal was it going?
It's different. There's a difference. There's brutality and there's bullying, and he wasn't. There's a difference. So like during when you're prepping, which is most of the day, you know, you didn't eat. Nobody talked to each other. There was like. I was in this sort of larder. There was a guy that did the bakery stuff. He was a young guy who lived there, who showed no emotion throughout the day, didn't really say anything. He was just sort of like came in like a robot, did his thing. The only emotion he showed was when he put sugar in the bread rather than salt one day. And that's when they saw the emotion. Had this other girl in there who was like maybe like 18 years old. Our partner was in Afghanistan. She was just like this frustrated, like, you know, buzzy person who was just getting shouted at by him the whole time. And I'm sort of in the middle of it, doing it. Like, during the day, Michael's one of these sort of like guys, he's super into technique and things and wants to teach. He's just a teacher. He'll come round, you know, not in a lovely but in a really tutoring fashion. He'll take you through how to do anything, get you to do things perfectly, get you to pick you up and stuff, whatever. And then service comes around. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. He's just like this, fucking this, you know. Everybody's shouted at. It's just amazing to see. We actually had a chef table in near the pass, and I don't know what their experience is like because I've never done it, but it's basically just him calling the maitre d' a cunt all night. So I don't know what they got out of it, but I don't know if it was like I don't know, sort of an early version of Gordon Ramsay's program where they just got off on that. But it can't have been a quiet experience for them doing that. But at the end of the night, he would be genuinely like up on top of the things, washing, you know, the air vents and stuff like that, right, so scrubbing down, doing all that stuff. Which at the end of the day, we haven't really eaten. We'd be raiding because I had a ladder, I was sort of finished first. We'd be raiding there was a hotel sort of sandwich section to make a sandwich because we were just fucking starving. And we'd get all the stuff because they did champagne by the glass, like Lauren Perrier. So we'd get the you know, the non-drunken bottles.
Beautiful.
So we'd be there with champagne, eating a sandwich, and seriously, like the guys from the chef table would walk past. He's up there scrubbing away. I'm the oldest person in the restaurant. A lot of them like, thank you, chef. Thank you, chef. I'm like, you know, this.
It's actually that guy.
It's actually he's Guy.
Wow.
What was the best dish on the menu? We always ask people. Anything you still remember?
I don't really remember much of the dishes. They're a bit. His sort of style of cooking's way out there. I mean, there's about 25 different.
Did it feel like a big step up going to
Yeah, I mean, I remember all the sauces and stuff like that. They were a little complex, and I learnt a lot about that. I learnt a lot about fiddly, sort of, you know, the sort of weird techniques, like with jellies and stuff, and rolling them in veg gel and doing all that stuff, which I would never use past that. But it's really interesting to learn about it. And a lot of his things just about sort of umami and the sort of Japanese side of it and all that. He really liked all that stuff, so that sort of came in. There's a lot of interesting stuff we learned. I wouldn't remember any dishes per se.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, given you were moving at speed, you kind of probably had in your head of like, I'll get as much from this as I can, and then I need to go and learn more.
Well,
else.
it was stopped. It was stopped abruptly for 2 reasons. One, my father had a stroke.
Oh, sorry.
So I had to go back to Edinburgh for that. And we thought he was going to go.
Yeah.
And I was also getting married.
Yeah, right.
So I came back from my honeymoon, and I was like, do I really want to go back into this? And I was like, look, I'm gonna call it. It was about 6 months or something like that. And I was like, look, I'm not. I've got something out of this. I'm going to move on to something else. It's a little bit less intense.
Nice.
Was that Rhodes 24?
No. It was... Shea Bruce.
Good? Not good.
Not good.
Not the one.
Under Bruce Paul.
Yeah, I mean Bruce is lovely. I don't. It wasn't a good experience for me. They were about to close down for a renovation, so I think they're going to be closed for about 2 months. And what I didn't realize, I think I was brought in just before that happened, probably about 3-4 weeks before that happened. So my time was up in 3-4 weeks anyway. I was just a temporary throw-in. But
did you know that?
but you talk about brutality in restaurants. I think there's a difference between that and bullying.
Yeah.
And what happened in there was just straight out
Just not
horrible.
good. Really?
To be honest, I'm a 32-year-old guy. I've got a career behind me. I was sort of like, everything I did was like, it's like, you know, the age was brought against me. You know, I've only been doing this for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was holding my own in there, doing service, everything was fine. But it was cruelty. And to the extent that I was in the end of the night, I'd be in my car at the end of the night, and I'd probably about half an hour crying, and I'd go home.
Really?
Every night.
What were they doing? Setting you up with tricks? Or?
Just horrible. It's just like from start to finish, just anything I did wasn't good enough, even though you knew it was fine.
Yeah.
Just picking and thing. And then in the end, I actually got a job at Roads 24, and he'd signed my P45, and he signed it that I was a KP. So I almost didn't get the job there because of it. Just as a fuck you. Fuck you after sacking me after closing down and bullying you for that length of time. It's horrible.
Wow.
And it's, the trouble is,
bizarre.
I love the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I can't,
Me too.
and I go to all the partner restaurants, and I'd worked at the Glass House before it, and that was a sort of different experience.
Yeah.
But that, and I didn't have a problem with Bruce. That experience was the worst, I think, employment experience of my life.
Yeah.
So I will never go back into that restaurant, even though I know I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love that cheese course.
Hey, listen, I'll boycott it too. I can't promise Freddie will boycott it.
I'll try my best.
You love it?
Well, it was
Yeah,
from
horrific.
working from. Well, what was it like working at Road 24 then? Was it good?
Different, like hard but good.
Was he ever in? Because Kerridge said he's the most underrated British chef of all time.
You did?
He the only time I really saw him in was, I think it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. We got in at 6, and I think it was like 20 past 6 he arrived, fully booted in like bow tie. I think he'd definitely been up in a casino or something like that all night, and he just started rambling on for a little bit. He was lovely.
Yeah, sweet man.
But that's the only time I saw him. It was Adam, the guy was the head chef there, and he was like hard but fair, you know. And I learned probably more there than any other Michelin restaurant I've worked in.
Really?
I think that was where I learned to cook.
Yeah.
You know, I got thrown in at the deep end one day by mistake, because actually the guy was on I was on fish garnish and the guy was on fish, and he called in sick. There's no way they could bring it down. So he was like, look, can you do? And the fish garnish was kind of easy, but to do fish and fish garnish at the same time was really difficult. And I fucking nailed it.
Yeah, lovely
Like
feeling.
I absolutely fucking nailed it. And he hadn't talked to me until then. He had like sort of grunted communication, going Scotty this, Scotty that. And after that, he was like, all right.
Yeah, this goes.
And then I started getting the sort of preferential treatment and started being one of the sort of. I was good, you know. Like he wasn't mean. There's a difference between mean and hard,
100%.
and I like hard. I like pushing you to do something. I don't need to be mollycoddled and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that, and I think he bridged that gap quite well. I mean, he's like Adam. If you don't, he was like quite sort of like, you know, he did Cro-Magnon, and you know, he's like a sort of army type. A man's man, you know. But he was good. Great teacher, great thing. And that's what I wanted out of that Michelin star thing. I wanted the hard time. I wanted the precision. I wanted to get all those things right in that time. And that probably helped me more than anywhere else.
Nice.
Give me the best dish there. Come on, you must remember one there.
I think one that I do is the risotto, the white tomato risotto, which actually inspired me quite a lot, because we make a lot of stuff with that. I actually do like a vegan cheese now with that sort of recipe and things like
Really?
that. Yeah, we just make it with white tomatoes.
Cool.
So it's like we ferment it and stuff like that. But I used to make a risotto with that, and also the way he cooked the fish, like it's a manure thing, but we did that with all fishes. So we did the butter and the flour and just cold pan, and you keep your hands on it until it starts spitting at you and burning your hands. But you get this perfect crusted fish with it was really good.
Unbelievable. So into a cold pan and then just bring it up.
Yeah, so basically you take your bream fillet or whatever, bit of flour, bit of room temperature butter, so it's like sort of like paint.
Yeah.
You can just paint it on, and then cold pan, because we had electric stoves, we didn't have gas, so it was cold when you went on. You couldn't really keep them warm, and then you just put it in the pan and you just keep your hand over it. So I had like 6 fish. I'm cooking like that. So my hand's like this, and then I'm trying to do the risotto with the garnish here. I'm doing like the egg dish and this thing and all the little veg stuff and all that, and then my tomatoes are up here, and it's just like that. But it's heaven.
That's the buzz.
It's great. Once you get that, it's like playing an instrument or something. Once you get that click, and then you realise you can just do it.
Guessing that was a la carte, right?
Yeah. I think it was mostly. I think there wasn't a tasting menu there.
There's a lot of great chefs come in now and said, sadly, that's gone out of the game now.
Yeah.
But I
Chefs may
knew
have to do that.
I knew I'd done well the day we had a Michelin inspector in. We knew it, and I did the risotto dish. I think went up to the pass, and he just sent it, and I was like,
Got it.
didn't try it, didn't send it. I saw him send it, and I was like, yeah.
I'm trusted. This
Yeah.
is
And that's a really nice thing, especially at my age when I'd gone through the experience I had at Chez Bruce. Having that after it was really nice.
the
It just
perfect
it was like, you know,
I got this.
it just takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time, and it takes the right sort of attitude from a manager to get that out
Yeah.
of you.
Well, it went from working from one British icon to another, because then you go work for Jamie.
Yeah.
Barbacoa, which was a great restaurant. I mean, obviously he's bringing back the Italians now, which are on the other scale of things.
You
But
said for a while you'd like to see Barbacoa come back.
No, but when it came about, I
cool,
remember it being a
yeah.
big thing.
It was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Massive.
Like some of the people working for that, like you've got the guy that does the butchery, that thing. You've got
Nathan.
Nathan.
Yeah.
So he was in charge of the butchery downstairs. You've got a lot of the chefs in there, really good. You've got front of house. You've got Honey and people like that,
Yeah.
and Honey and Charlie that worked there. You've got, you know, all these sort of people that they were drawn to the fact because it was a fucking great idea. You know, the idea behind it was just brilliant. And I wanted to learn. My thing I wanted to learn wasn't really the barbecue element; it was the butchery. So I was like, because I was frustrated by at that time, and all these restaurants had worked in, everything came in, apart from pigeons or something like that. You know what I mean? I knew how to buy a pigeon, but like these big cuts of meat, I was like, I need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
And in Rhodes, they actually let me do the fish prep because they used to get that filleted as well, and I said, no, I want to do the fish prep. I want to learn that. But the big butchery things I never really got hold of, and I was like, that's what I want to learn next, and I want to do that. So that was the draw to me. It wasn't really the Jamie thing. I didn't really know about Adam until I researched him.
Yeah.
And then
So did you go in as a butcher with Nathan? Or
no. I went in as a sous chef or whatever,
Yeah.
or junior sous, whatever. I don't know what they call me. I was on the grill.
Yeah. No longer a KP, Matt Christmas.
And it was an interesting experience. The most I learned from that, I think, I learned the barbecue stuff around, but also learned how not to run a restaurant. You know, because you have multiple ideas. You had the head chef who knew fuck all what was going on in the restaurant because he hadn't joined until the first day. You got Jamie on one side who's got this idea of what the menu would be. You've got Adam on the other side who's got this idea of what the menu would be. Those ideas, I don't know if they work too well together.
Yeah.
You know, they were interesting, but it would be better just to do one or the other, I think. And then you've got the butchery side of it, which just didn't work with their ideas. So you've got like Adam going, well, we need to do a short rib every day. I was like, well, there's only 4 short ribs there's 4 short ribs on each side of a cow. Yeah. You know, so that's 8 on a cow. You got 1 cow in there, so that's enough for 8 diners.
Yeah.
You know, like so your recipe's already thrown. Your recipe for this menu is already thrown out the window with that one dish. You know, it's not going to work. The burger would work with that, but nothing else did. And so the construction of the menu didn't fit the idea.
No.
So very quickly, we're not using the butcher. We're actually using things. The restaurant design was shocking. There was no prep. So you've got 800 covers. There's not a prep space. They made nothing behind that front line. So you had to do all the prep out front. And then the first day, so we're about to open. It was me, John Relihan, who's like the sous chef there. And we're in, and we're about to open. We've got Faye Mashler and all these people coming in the next day. It's the big opening day. And all of the chefs at some point, they all came from 15 or his place. Yeah. And they all left at 4 because that was the time they were supposed to leave. Well, to be fair, I mean, that was their time they were supposed to leave. But nothing was finished. We had to do like tons of barbecue sauce. We had to put all the meat on. We had to do all the prep left because they hadn't done it. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and Jamie Oliver and Dexter Fletcher and all these guys from that he's sort of celebrity
boys
just appeared in the restaurant, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, we're opening your restaurant tomorrow." And he's like, "What? Yeah, but you've had all these guys." Are like, "Well, they've gone." So we're just doing this. He, God love him, said, "Sorry guys, you're gonna go." I think he'd had a couple of drinks, but he just got his whites on.
Jumped in.
Yeah, jumped in, started helping us out, started chatting, started
Legend.
talking about amazing. I think he's one of like another inspiring character. I didn't expect that of him.
No.
I think he's lovely. Like he's got that sort of mindset of someone who's just doing everything at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they've got 1,000 things to do, and so they do. But he really cared.
That's so cool.
And so we got all that prep done, opened the next day, and it was still a bit of a disaster, but, you know, it would have been worse if we'd just had gone home at 4
Talk
o'clock.
about Adam Perry Lang a bit, because, I mean, he's still got one of the Instagram accounts I like to follow the most, where he's slapping his ribs and tickling them with herbs and all this sort of... He's a visionary in that kind of space?
He's a perfectionist. He's into that whole sort of Japanese side of things, of perfection as well. So he would come up and adjust, like, the knife on my desk, and he was like, you want it facing that way the whole time, and if it moves, you know you're not in control anymore.
Wow.
And his whole thing on grilling and barbecue is still something I do. I don't use the herb brush thing. That's the only thing that me and him disagree on. He loves it. I think it's just, I don't know if he wants to sell them at some point or just make it. I don't really get that.
Yeah.
And I don't pepper my steak before I grill it like he does. But apart from that, I follow almost to the line everything he does with cooking meat. The whole tempering is his thing. Temper was called after tempering. The idea of bringing a steak to that thing, not resting steaks, but you know, just bringing them up nice and slowly so they're all perfect. And the coloration, when to color, when to use the fat, when to use salt, when to do this, you know. I still follow it to the day. He had that down. And his whole thing on barbecuing was just ultimately perfect.
Yeah.
So I learned so much from it. I was very quickly the teacher's pet in there. I mean, people would say that, but like literally, I was the junior sous, but I was the one he was getting to do everything. Because initially he picked up that I had this desire and this, you know, this sort of real work ethic to get this stuff done. Yeah. And I would sort of push and I would stay back and I would listen. I was just like this sort of like...
there as a sponge.
And I think he picked it up really quickly. And then we became sort of, I mean, still close. He did the forward from a book, which is really nice.
So what is the key to the perfect steak then? Just a quick rundown.
It doesn't matter if you bring it out of the fridge or not. I would say the thinner steaks, keep them in the fridge because you want it to come up nice and slowly. So the idea is I get colour on first. So get as much, you paint colour on. So you, especially on a grill, so you've got bars. So what you want to do is just keep moving it. So you're almost painting that. It's not coming from fire. People think it's fire. People think it's smoke. It's nothing to do with it. It's hot bars at a certain temperature. Right. So there's got to be thick steel. And you just keep moving it so that you paint that sort of brown coloration onto that Maillard for as much time as possible. Once that is coloured, it can just sit. It needs to sort of sit and be moved from cold to hot, just almost like gently bring it up to temperature. Amazing. And then once you're sort of finished with it, you don't really need to rest it for that long, you know. But there's a time to it, and you can't ignore that. And when people mess up steaks, it's because they try and rush them, or they try and keep them, or they don't colour them enough. And it's just that understanding, and also just hitting the salt when it's sort of sizzling, when that sort of melt in.
And so,
Elliot Grover,
Grover can do it. Are you, if you you're looking at a steak with that technique, do you have a sense of how long this is going to take?
Yeah. But just because I
cooked,
I reckon about 500,000 steaks in my first year. Yeah. So like it's like anything. I don't know why it is, but I could definitely look at it and go, all right, for that, and I understand that on a grill. Understand what temperature feels like. Understand, you know, I understand the problems with ovens as well, and how that affects things.
Nice. Are you a
probe
man?
Yeah, you have to.
Or are you on the old school?
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because actually, like, it depends on how it's been cooked. If you've cooked that hard and fast, then that sort of thing does really work because it's going to sort of tense up. Yeah. If you cook it in a way that respects the steak and you don't lose moisture during cooking, it's as soft as it is when it's medium rare, when it's well done. Right. You know, so that sort of technique, it works to an extent if you've got a way of doing it. So if you're like you work in, like when I worked in Rhodes, like you cook on the pan for X amount of time, and then you stick it in the oven, and then it comes out and it rests in there. And that would work in that because you're doing the same process over and over again. When you've got like at times I had 25 different pieces of meat on that grill. If you're going to start pulling stuff off and start putting it, it's absolutely impossible. You really need something just to prod in there. But you just need to think about timing. So you've got all these different cuts of meat. You're trying to think about, you've got 50% of them are medium rare, some of them are rare, some of them are well done. You've got all these different cuts going on. You've got different flames. You've got to move the flame from side to side. It's like, and then you've got this like screen on the other side, which is telling you more things are coming in.
Yeah.
It's that is the hardest job I think I've ever done.
Really?
That I think it's almost like, don't want to overblow it, but there's very few people do that well. And I don't think I ever did a night when it was absolutely perfect. There was little mistakes here and there.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
It's a new year, and Blink is something new for all of us. You already know Blink as a fully integrated, cutting-edge POS built for hospitality, but now we can meet Blink reservations. They integrate seamlessly with your Blink POS to give you true end-to-end control of the front of house. Every booking and walk-in becomes a valuable guest insight, with deposits and pre-authorizations handled effortlessly and real-time table tracking from arrival to bill. This is not just another reservation system, Benjamin. The Blink POS and Blink reservations integration is genuinely unique.
Isn't it?
Always struggling genuinely. It's quite hard work. And priced up on the market.
You're at the end of a marathon by that
I know.
stage.
I'm
The lips are working overtime.
I know they are.
Give yourself a break.
The saliva's gone.
Yeah.
A better product, and it's just incredible value. If you're ready to streamline your operations and elevate your guest experience, then book a demo with Blink today. Use the code GOTOBLINK with a Q and get 2 months free. I want to see this in the pub.
Yeah.
See this in the pub.
Done.
Okay,
Railway
done.
Tavern.
Done.
It's another done deal.
Another done deal. You're welcome, Greg. You're fucking welcome. So post Barbacoa, sort of 2011ish. What's going on? Because Pitt Cue's coming about. Tom Adams, he's got beautiful blonde hair. He's massaging pigs. Yeah. You're leaving Barbacoa. Are you there from the start?
No, yeah. So he'd done the trailer thing.
He's in his Airstream.
Yeah,
he's
he'd
out
done the
Airstream.
trailer
Hung
thing.
bridge,
With him and Jamie had done that thing. So
love your
it's a
bridges.
really nice thing with
bridges.
So I was in Barbacoa. There's a friend of mine. Oh God, I can't remember his name right now. That's going to really kill me. Anyway, he was doing this event called. He was an Irish guy. He was doing an event called Beef Cartel, and the idea was he would take. He was the same thing. He was a butcher down the thing, and he wasn't really a chef, but he was trying to learn to be a chef. And the idea was, I think it was in the arches in near here. What do you call it? Over the thingy arches in where the market is.
Borough Market.
No, the one over there.
Yeah,
that's what that was meant. Anyway, Maltby Street Market.
Come
Within
on.
the wine place there.
Yeah,
What do you call
nice.
Maltby Street. So basically, he'd taken over. He had this Argentinian grill outside. He had a whole cow that he'd got from Scotland. This whole Highland cow. And his idea was going to sell it over 3 nights with the wine, and someone was going to grill it and whatever. And he was like, "Look, can you help me out and do the cooking?" And I was like, yeah. So we're cooking this thing in this Argentinian grill. So he's cut like 100 steaks off this thing, and this little blonde guy walks past. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And there's just the smoke coming up, and we're like, we're cooking a whole cow. And he's like, "You doing what?" He said, "We've got Highland cow in there, so he's butchering it. I'm just going to cook it tonight." He was like, "This is the best thing going in London tonight, clearly."
Yeah.
He then invited, what I didn't know at the time, Richard Turner and all of Hawksmoor guys.
Cool.
And so this sort of like 30 cover event was now like a 60 cover event. What we hadn't worked out was that the lights, there was no lights outside. So at 6 o'clock when the lights started to dim, I'm actually outside. I'm like, there's a problem here because I can't see any of the steaks cooking. So I've got to do it sort of blind. And Richard Turner even came out and he was like, "Well," he said, "How the fuck are you going to do this?" And I was like, I don't know.
You know what, Richard?
And he was like, "Good luck." Walked in, and then he came out later. He was like, "Mate," he said, "I've gone around every table. Every single one of them was a perfect medium rare. I don't know how the fuck you've done that." And he was like, "Do you want a job?" Because he's here opening this thing, Pitt Cue. He's got no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
he's got a good idea, but we need a chef to do it, and we need to come up with ideas and do it properly and run it. And I was like, yeah.
So cool. So then that was the Soho site, the corner site.
Yeah, the little one, and which was horrible. I mean, it was like
fun though. As a punter.
Yeah, fun as a punter. As a chef, you've got no air conditioning downstairs. You've got 3 fridges. You've got a grill. You've got 2 smokers, which don't work, per se, because it's too hot. So it was too hot down in there, so they steamed. The fridges were at 26 degrees, so we couldn't keep meat more than a day. We couldn't keep meat more than a few hours, really. So we had to cook everything we did, which is actually quite good. So we actually did proper barbecue, but not by choice. I'd have loved to pre-cook shit, but we didn't. So we just, everything, all the ribs that came in the morning had to get cooked. All the stuff had to get sold that night. The fridges were no fucking good for anything, so we did pickling because they were hot and it's perfect fermentation temperature, so we just pickled everything. I mean, he was into pickling because of David Chang and stuff like that, so we had a few of his little pickles and stuff like that. But generally that sort of became a thing because it was the way of preservation in a hot kitchen. You're sweating on top of sweat. You've got the worst service scenario ever because you've got 24 seats. They sit down all at once. So you can imagine, like, the thing, like, it's just like a check goes boom.
Yeah, bang. Let's go.
And then you go through that stops, you have a little drink, and then boom, and then boom.
Oh, so stressful.
So you've got people queuing out as well for like 6 hours. They were queuing up to come into that restaurant. And you had that pressure on you to, you know, you knew that they had this high expectations. Luckily, they were pissed because they'd been drinking so long upstairs. So there was a little bit of, to be honest, it was like a babism, I think. You know, like no matter what you gave them, there was a certain satisfaction to do for it. I think that definitely helped.
No, it was very good.
No, I mean, it was an interesting stuff. It was like we came up with a lot of cool shit.
Yeah. It was a very important restaurant, though, wasn't it? I mean, it made a real big.
We didn't know at the time, like anything like that. I suppose, you know, we were just doing something that we knew was fun. You had me that had his ideas of just keeping it nice and simple, which I wouldn't have done. I'd probably gone a bit crazy.
Yeah.
His thing was simplicity, and he brought all the sort of like, he was really into sourcing and stuff like that, which I didn't know about. So I learned a lot from him about the pigs and stuff like that. He brought Matt Chatfield, you know, who was bringing all the stuff in from Cornwall
project.
So we had all this amazing produce that we were getting and we were using every day. That was 100% him, and then the recipes and stuff were sort of coming from me, and the way of cooking was coming from me. So those two things were quite an ideal.
So if you walked in, let's say it's still available, it's not, but if you walked in, what would you be ordering? What was like the thing to order?
Not the pulled pork. I just think it's a bit the ox cheek for sure. I just think the ox cheek was just a banger.
How did that come?
Well, we'd smoke it, and we'd smoke it. What happens to an ox cheek is, you know, it's just cooked when this little sort of stalagmite goes down or whatever, like this little thing of this sort of gristle that pops out, and then you know it's just soft inside. And we'd sort of chill that back, slice it almost like a burger, and then hard fry it. Oh. So it just that had that almost like the pizza crust underneath, which was just that sort of fat and gristle. And then it's just that sort of nice sort of smoky texture. Like, that was perfect.
So good,
It was perfect food.
What about the moonshine shift? Is that what they called it? People working through the night butchering in the basement?
No, that never happened.
Oh, I saw that on the Chef's Night Out Munchies video.
What happened was...
It's all lies.
It's all lies.
Yeah. No, that never happened. What did happen was we would get all the front of house staff, so in between, it's a little bit like, do you know, you got those sort of the series of like Colombian drug houses where you've got people around just making little bags of stuff. We sort of did that in between service, so we'd give all the pulled pork to all the front house staff. They would come down and they would sit in the dining room and they would weigh out bags of pulled pork that we stuck in little vac bags, because we vat packed all the pulled pork and all the ribs. So they would just sit around it, and they'd just be sitting around doing it. It looked a bit like that. Wow. That's the only thing I can think of that sort of happened. But nothing happened at night. There was no...
It was like the River Cafe with baggies.
Yeah.
Why did you leave then? Was there a bit of a fallout? I mean, it seemed quite premature for you to leave. It was still going strong?
So Tom was ill for about 6 months. So he wasn't really in the restaurant for a long time. And I think he sort of came back. I think there was a little bit of bitterness that the thing was going really well, and he couldn't really come into it. Richard Turner was convinced by him that I was sort of changing recipes, and I was like, well, this is bullshit, because they're my recipes. All of them are. Why the fuck am I changing my own recipes? So we just sort of like decided that I would go off somewhere. And I said, look, I don't know if I can do another year in that fucking kitchen anyway. It's brutal. It's a horrible place to be. I've sort of done my thing. I need to go off and do something myself. So it came to a sort of conclusion that it wasn't like we left and hated each other. He bought me a bottle of what do you call it, that really expensive whiskey, the bourbon.
Don't know.
Come on.
I don't
The
know.
£1,000 a bottle stuff.
Oh.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Have you been on a Kim's Head farm? Have you tried his charcuterie?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't. I'm
just
not
a
like.
scheduling issue.
I wouldn't say I've fallen out with him or something. There's a slight sort of like.
It's a tension.
There's a tension there because I think he was a bit. The big tension came in the book because there were all my stuff in the book and his stuff as well, but it was mostly the thing. And then I think he got Lee Tiernan to do the book with him, to do all the shots and stuff, and was going to be in it. And I was like, I phoned up Richard and I was like, I am fucked off about this.
Yeah.
Because this is, and he was like, no, you're right. This is weird. And I actually had a real beam about Lee for a while until I actually met him.
Sweet
And
man.
I didn't, when you don't know why you hate somebody, but you
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
think you
yeah.
do. And I was like, oh, really? And then I met him and I was like, oh, I really love you.
Really
You're
like you, Lee.
just a
It's
really
not your
nice
fault,
guy.
Lee. It's not your fault.
And he didn't turn everything into a flatbread as well in the book.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
I'm just saying you didn't.
But no, that was a bit of bitterness within that, and then sort of left kind of on that. But look, I went on to do, John Salt, which I reckon.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's what
that
I'm saying.
was-
John,
John
Salt,
Salt was
come on. Then fucking, was it John Salt, then Smokehouse, 2013. Both open to critical acclaim.
Yeah.
That must have been the most enjoyable part of your
Well,
career
John
so
Salt
far.
was tricky because you had the guy before me who was sort of like, the lick the brick thing, which was, he'd got like 5-star reviews in every restaurant. He was killing it financially.
What was
I know
Lick
his
the
staff.
Brick, for those who don't know?
Yeah.
What was his name? Ben.
It wasn't one of Ben Benton's ideas, was it?
No, it wasn't. But he'd got all these great critical reviews. He'd come from sort of Michelin star backgrounds. He was like the next best thing chef.
Yeah.
But like they called me up because it was actually a connection between Matt Chatfield and the owners, John Carter, who's like the DJ from the 90s, and they were like, we need to get rid of this guy because he's destroying us. He doesn't want to come in. He doesn't want to cook. He doesn't want to make any money. We're losing money. We just spent £1 million over the place. So I had to go in after him and take over on the cusp of like 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Tough gig.
that's a tough gig.
Yeah.
And also I knew I was going to do completely different food. And luckily it went well. It smashed it,
Yeah, I
and we
remember
turned
it.
it.
Was unbelievable.
Yeah. That was probably my favourite menu to do from start up because it was the most. I had a crack team.
Come on then.
So
Some names.
Well, I had what's his name? From Lyle's.
James
Lowe.
Lowe.
James Lowe.
Yeah.
James Lowe was my. Well, he was just in the kitchen. I just said he was so critical of. He was one of these chefs that was super critical of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was in between jobs at the time, and I said, I need honesty. Like, I don't want a chef in my kitchen to be like, oh yeah, that's great.
That's great, chef.
Yeah, it's great. I want you to tell me it's shit when it's shit and good when it's good. So he came in for a small time, and
Cool.
yeah, and then we just had a really good stack of chefs in there to start with, and good front of house, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And the menu, we were getting like all this live seafood came in straight off the boat, which didn't really happen back then. I mean, it was literally, we got an Instagram from a boat, and he would say, I've got this, this, and this, and the next day it was in our fridge. Too young, to be honest. We had to leave it to sort of like
Wow.
go through rigor mortis.
And was that coming up from Cornwall? with Matt?
Yeah, so that was Matt had arranged all of that stuff. And then we had sort of the best beef, the best
Yeah.
everything. I would cook all the crabs in the big green egg.
Can you
And then
remember
we had
some-
Luke Finley was my sous chef, who does super ya ramen.
Yeah.
He was just fun.
Wow.
So it was just like a little crack team of
Yeah.
good chefs.
Really captured the
and-
moment, I remember.
Yeah.
Like,
It was good fun. I miss it. I think that was something. If we'd done that in a restaurant, it could have been sustainable because it was more like a pop up.
Yeah.
To be saying, but if we'd done that in an actual restaurant, I reckon that would still be around
yeah.
today.
Is Smokehouse still around?
Yeah, Smokehouse is still around. They sold it, but it's still sort of trying to do. And they came in. So the guy that owned that came in. He brought Lars from Noma, the development chef, who actually me and a friend cooked his wedding a few years ago.
Cool.
He brought him in as a bit of a buttering me up sort of thing.
Yeah.
The owner of that, he owned the Pig and Butcher around the corner, and he came in with Lars to eat, and he was like, "Oh, I've got an idea for you," and I was like, "Oh, really?" And they took me to this pub and were like, "Look, we want to do this, but we want to make it barbecue. We want to do like real barbecue in the back garden. This is going to be a pub. We're going to do craft beers. We're going to do all this." And I was like, "In, perfect."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it opened to critical acclaim.
Certainly did, Freddie.
Yeah. And it was hard as well, because that's where we started doing the whole animal stuff. We started doing what Barbacoa tried to do, and we were trying to do in that sort of in Maltby Street. That sort of idea of getting in the whole carcass and doing everything, but also just doing it in a way that wasn't about that. It wasn't like a big steak place. It was like little dishes and nice things and good beer. The combination of that, because they were such good front of house. They are good business owners, and I like it when I get kickback. I like it when a lot of the problems with Temper was because everybody just sort of went, yeah. I was like, okay. Whereas he would have gone, nah, that's a shit idea. No, we want to do this or whatever. And you can have a creative side, but if it doesn't get pushed back, then you'll just spin out.
Well, we're going to get to Temper in a second, but a year later, 2014, after getting critical acclaim for Smokehouse, you open. You basically express yourself as an egg pervert, and then you open Bad Egg, which is an egg-based restaurant in Moorgate. I mean, so when we look back on that, is there some madness in that, or?
I really like that.
Yeah.
I love that restaurant. It was open for a long time.
Eggs from all around the world.
It only closed just. A year after COVID, I think, because they developed that area. But for that area, that thing, it was just such a fun little thing to do.
What was the inspiration for that?
Nothing. They just basically he'd found a site and it was cheap, and he was like, "Look, I want to do a diner," and I was like, "All right." And then I did a diner menu, and then the Daily Mail got hold of it, and they said, "Are you doing eggs?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." Must have said I was an egg pervert or so that. And it was like Neil Rankin does egg restaurants. Like, it's not a fucking egg restaurant. And then we had to make it an egg restaurant because everybody expected it.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, we got to put more
But
eggs in it
interesting
now.
dishes from all around the world, right? Like
Yeah,
eggs?
I mean, even in that, I think we probably had too much stuff in there, and it got. But the idea was we had like sort of like endless coffee, and you got in there, and it was like sort of brunch lunch. We did the boozy brunch thing so well.
Yeah.
And it was a nightmare for us. Like, I never went in on a Saturday. Like, literally, you'd be getting off at Moorgate Station. You'd walk, and the city on a Saturday is just dead.
Yeah.
It's a bit busier now, but back then,
Yeah.
and there's nobody. And then you'd start to see these sort of like Tenerife. You'd see these sort of people like just sort of falling over themselves, and then women just sort of like with the handbags just sort of like falling to the ground. And then you get closer to the restaurant, it was just this
Chaos.
I was like, it wasn't cuisine at that time, but it was a fun day out.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, 2016, you managed to achieve what Barbacoa was trying to, and obviously, well, a lot better in many ways. But in your Instagram bio, you said you were there when it was good. I mean, what happened? There seems to be some messy divorce. You create this empire. No, but you create this empire, and then suddenly you don't want anything to do with it.
There was the difference in Temper. So the first one, what you understand about Temper was that the idea I had for Temper. So I went and actually had the site before I had the idea. I had the site which ended up being Cricket in Denman Street.
Yeah.
Denman Street, is it? Denmark Street, on one of the two.
Yeah.
Opposite the Devonshire.
Yeah.
And it was an up and down thing. So my idea was really like a sort of 30 to 50 cover counter bar, rotisserie, barbecue, flatbreads cooked in the thing. Sort of like, I mean, what do you call it before it opened? The turbot one.
Brat.
Pre-brat for the time, but with meat. So that was kind of like, because everything was sort of going that way. I really liked sort of, just like a sort of Spanish, sort of like tapasy type sort of thing.
Yeah.
Barafina-esque. I liked that sort of style of thing. I wanted to be behind it, with the close service doing it. We wanted to have a wine bar downstairs, a la Pitt Cue, where I really like the idea of just bringing people in, getting them drunk, and then bring them up, and then having this sort of like reciprocal thing. That was the idea. Yeah. And I went to like numerous I got the site at thing, and then I fell out with my then investor guy for good reason. It was going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then I actually went to the people who were selling the building, and I said, look, do you know anybody that can do it? And I was also speaking to, I had a chat to JKS at the time. If I had a regret in life, it was that I didn't go that route.
Yeah.
But they just do everything perfectly. But I took a deal which I thought was really good. They wanted me to do multiples of this, which I thought, small restaurant, you can do multiples. Yeah. But then I took them to the site, and they were like, we don't like the site. And we took them to Kiln site, and they said, I don't like this site. It's never going to do anything good. And then I was like, so we had this site. We knew it wanted to be in Soho. And this site kept on getting given to us, and we kept on rejecting it because it was just too big. And it was like a basement thing. And I said, well, what about this? And it was like a 300 grand rent.
Wow.
Shell, huge.
Massive, yeah.
And they were like, oh no, we love this. And I was like, shit. So I had this idea of Temper, which was this sort of like really sort of thing, which people had invested in that idea. We'd raised 7 million on that idea.
Wow.
And then they're like, we do this big restaurant. It's like, yeah, but this doesn't work. You can't take Barafina or Brat and turn it into a 300 cover restaurant. It doesn't work because you don't have that. You need that closeness, and you need the sort of, there's a small amount of produce you can get and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. So it needs to be a smaller, more intimate space. So I had this other idea called Big Worm, which was like a barbacoa thing where you bury whole lambs and tortillas and mezcal and all this sort of shit. And I just kind of schmooshed it.
Yeah.
So opening that place, I'm already off plan. So I'm off plan for doing multiples. We've got this site which miraculously worked.
Yeah.
We did like £1 million EBITDA, almost. There's like 750 grand first year profit. Wow. Filling the place up, paying, even higher than 300 grand rental because it was like a 10% thing. All the reviews went really well, everything, and then they're like, well, let's do the next one. Of course, the next one, it was like all right, well, we had a site in New York we looked at. We actually had a guy that worked at the Hudson Yards development. And he said, we want this in there. So it'd be next to like David Chang and stuff like that, places. And we flew over there, the lot of us. We went there and we came back and we're like, this would be amazing. They were going to pay for the fit out. They're going to pay the first 3 years rent. Everything was going to be done. And people were like, no, we don't want to do it. I was really keen on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where we could go next. We kept on getting rejected for places we wanted. It was hard to find because I think that the beauty of Temper was, first of all, the staff. So you had Johnny, who was my GM at Pitt Cue. He was amazing. You had Martin, who's who's now got from the Ashes. He was there, and you got Irish, who was next to him, who were just like romancing people with the meat cookery and stuff like that, and talking to people, getting backhanders all the time and all that. Beautiful. You've got Donald, who's this sort of like. He's the sommelier, who's a sort of foppy public school boy, look like exactly what you want in a sommelier. Yeah, he was just like overselling stuff. And then there's this amazing staff. And you've also got the build of the place was, you went down and it was super smoky. It was this sort of like den of iniquity. The fire was the focus of it. And then the loud music. So we amped, me and Johnny would just run up the music. We're like, no, it needs to be louder. People would complain. It was like complain it's too loud. We'd go whack it up a bit more. And that was the whole point. You weren't supposed to speak there. You were supposed to get immersed. It was immersive theatre.
Yeah.
Fuck all to do with the food. The food was good. And the mezcal was great, but it was to do with that whole, shop thing, do that late night, and people were just blown away. We never did lunches. We were shit at lunches. Yeah. And we never really did Saturday daytime or Sundays that well. It was an evening, heavy theatrical experience, and that's what made it great. That's what people loved. The second site, which we got picked for us, was a glass box in the middle of the city. The city, instantly, you've got lunches that we weren't very good at in Soho. We're supposed to be good at then because you're only open 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So you have to scale lunches. We didn't know how to do that. You can't have the secret sort of entrance because it's a big fucking glass box. You can see absolutely everything. Yeah. You can't have too much smoke because people are wearing their suits. You can't put the music up because people need to hear themselves. They're doing business meetings and stuff like that. So you got tick, buck, tick, all these things that made us good. You go tick, 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 after. And then we made it twice the size of Soho. It's like okay.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
so it didn't work.
Yeah.
And of course it's not going to work. The problem was in this whole thing that people from, I think it's to do with the atmosphere and to do with that sort of stylistic thing, and that's what made Temper good. And I thought we should go back to the small idea because then we could do multiples of it. They were so convinced because this thing had done well, which I can see their point. It had done really well, would do well anywhere, that the reason we failed was because the cuisine wasn't right. And I'm like, so we kept on changing the cuisine to try and make it do better, whereas that's not the problem. You're trying to fix... You're trying to fix
fixing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're trying to fix the wrong thing. And in the end, it wasn't really a thing. My second big sort of mental when the third one opened, and and everything was on me, but then none of the control was me. I ain't spent that money. I ain't spent 250 grand in a restaurant in the city. I ain't spent, I ain't okay to the money spent in the other one, but I'm the one that has to fix it because it's my problem, because it's my food. So the pressure was on me, but the control wasn't on me, and that's what really breaks you, because you're like, if I'm in control of everything, I can fix this. But if I'm not in control of these things, but I'm the person that's got to fix it, and I know that's not going to fix it, that I just twisted out. Yeah. So in the end, like, we didn't really fall out. I was just like, you want to do this to it. I don't want to do this to it. Everybody agrees. So you've got 90% of the people that think it's going to be successful this way. I think we need to do this. I need to go.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was a 75 grand a year job for me. The shareholdings were not solid. So if it didn't do well, I wouldn't get anything. So it's like what am I giving up? What am I giving up?
Exactly. Did you take any money out of it then? Or not?
No. I mean, I got paid off. I think about... I can't remember what the money was, but it wasn't very much in the end. And so I didn't really take anything out of it. I didn't want to take it. I don't do things for the money. No. I wanted it to be successful. I wanted that first one. I was so proud of that first one.
Yeah, it was very cool.
It was so cool. And now I come back to it, and actually I was speaking to this food influencer, and he was like, "Oh, Temper, I really didn't like it." And I was like, "Oh, man, the trouble is it's hard to defend because I don't know what his experience is.
Where,
where was that? But I know for a fact, if you were in that first year in Soho, or even the second year, you would have fucking loved it. And if you didn't love it, I'm not your friend.
No.
You're not my sort of person.
You're also getting death threats from vegans, weren't you? I mean, you end up closing your socials down. Come on,
Freddie.
Are you getting death threats from vegans?
Yeah, it was before it. At the opening, but that was only because the press had advertised that it was a whole animal barbecue. I think they'd coined it as.
Yeah.
And they sort of said I think it was Evening Standard or something, they'd said, oh, he's just going to be a big spit with something like a whole animal. And it was like, that's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, the whole animal thing was to do with more sustainability. It's like we were buying one cow a week in that restaurant to do, 150 grand week. Yeah. And so that's comparable to like a sort of Hawksmoor type sort of thing, which you would use multiple cattle. 100%. So the idea was using less death, not more death. But they had this idea of it. So once I'd explained that, you sort of got through to the sort of sensible ones. There was still sort of the hardcore ones that just wanted to protest because we were getting a lot of press.
Yeah, quite fair.
But that never turned into anything in the end.
No. Well, 9 years later, you've now got this incredible vegan company, Simplicity, with the Wogan brothers. You guys are using fermentation to just, put your middle fingers up once more to sort of all this, fake created processed meats. And you're supplying the likes of Dishoom, Gordon Ramsay. I mean, it's quite incredible.
Yeah, we've just launched Waitrose as well, so for a retail thing
for those
last
who can
week.
Afford it. Producer Scotty.
Yeah. Get yourself down there, son.
So that sort of came from really just in a sort of experiment. It was actually I used to be the head of food for Street Feast.
Cool.
In between, just before Temper. And we did like this vegan evening, and all these vegan brands came down. And I remember it was Tom from Honest Burgers came up to me and he was like, I've got this new burger I want you to try. It's this vegan thing. You got to taste it. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. I didn't buzz with it, but I was like, it's interesting what they've done. I don't really understand it. I was like, what's in it? And he was like, I don't know. And then I looked at it and started researching it. And I was like, is there not like a sort of British version of this? Is there not like a sort of like artisan? Well, artisan's a bit of a wanky word, but you know what I mean? Like a sort of like thing that, you know, like local bread or local things. There's not somebody here making this sort of stuff out of like vegetables. And nice stuff.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get the whole, like, why is all this shit in it? Why does it taste kind of like processed and things? Why can't you make it from the stuff that I've been selling in restaurants for years and knowing it tastes delicious?
Yeah.
You know, like why can you go to San Sebastian and have like the best mushrooms in the world, and why is that not a thing when I eat this? You know, because, and also why is this unhealthy, and why, if I'm switching to vegan food or plant-based food, that should be healthier. It should be better for me. It should be, you know, I should lose weight, surely.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
Well, I mean, you're just out there solving problems.
Yeah, you are.
You strike me as somebody who's had a lot of ideas.
Yeah, probably
Like,
too many.
Not too many, no. I mean, most of them seem to have been an unbridled success. For a period. Successful
You
for a little bit, then
tap
they
dance beautifully. Mentioning Ramsey, though, I just quickly want to say, you did have a bit of a pop at him in 2017.
I did.
You said, try doing something positive rather than criticising crap restaurants and TV, glorifying kitchen abuse, telling chefs today they have to work the stupid hours that you did and you probably hated, and now saying that everyone's on drugs. I mean, what triggered that?
That was Rambo you went for with that.
I did, and I went for. I didn't get much
enough.
kickback from Ramsey thing. Actually, I think he's fine with it.
It's beautiful, right?
He's like, you've summed me up perfectly.
It was the Marco Pierre White one that I got.
What did you say about Marco?
I called him a rambling, misogynistic dinosaur.
That's nice.
Because he said women couldn't handle pressure in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So what was...
I think my whole take on this is that I think people put people on pedestals for certain reasons. Like for instance, like there is nothing I don't respect about Gordon or Marco in cooking.
Yeah.
You know, or in gaining a Michelin star. I can't do that. I can't do what they do. So I can't help but have unbelievable respect for it. Gordon as well, like with what he's done in television and what he's built for himself. I mean, that's something to look up to.
Yeah.
But I don't see the point in putting somebody on a pedestal in all areas because of something that they're really good at. I think that's where we make mistakes, because we sort of like, once we sort of put somebody as like this sort of godlike figure, they can do no wrong. Of course they can.
Yeah.
In fact, most of them do horrible things. You know, Gordon's wasn't supposed to be a thing. I just was writing a Facebook thing. I was writing on Facebook. It was an article, and I was writing a Facebook post which I thought was private. And I went into I was in some sort of rum festival, and I came out of that. And after I'd written that, because I was just like, fuck, this is what I think of Gordon Ramsay. And then I was like, I'll probably delete that. And I got back out. My phone was like
blown up a bit.
I was like, shit. It was in the fucking New York Times. It was like everywhere. And I was like, oh no, I really fucked this.
Christ.
But I mean, I stand by it. I was like, it's like, look, the reason he was like, you know, like cocaine in restaurants is a really bad thing. I was like, yeah, of course it is. But the reason people are doing that is because of the shifts. And you can't be a defender of that line of work. And I am too. You know, I'm a defender, as I was saying before. Like, I like that aspect of it, that sort of hard line aspect of it. But a lot of people can't do that. I was 30 years old doing it. If you're a young person going into that thing, you're probably a chef that hasn't really, like, a lot of chefs aren't really great with a lot of society. You know, we're all a little bit on the spectrum. You know, and then you've got to look after these people, and then you make them do all this tough work and put them through it. And then they do something to sort of help themselves through that because they're misguided, and then you come down on them. That doesn't work with me. And the same with the Marco thing. It's like I have 50% of my chefs were female at the time. You know, like maybe like when he says, you know, women, I think it was something like, I can't remember the exact thing, but it's like women don't have the mindset for working in a kitchen. You know, they're too emotional. Yeah. I was like, you're fucking saying that. You're the guy kicking people out your fucking restaurant and almost you know, like man. you're highly emotional. Yeah. Like if you weren't good at cooking, you shouldn't be in a kitchen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that is pot kettle black as far as I'm saying. And also my experience wasn't like that. I don't owe him anything. You know, I don't owe Marco Pierre White much. I mean, yeah, he's the thing, but I do owe the women that work in my kitchen that I know are fucking great. the just to speak out a little bit for them and to say, no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Did Marco respond?
No, but it was in the papers again and stuff like that. I think, you know, those are the two things that I think caught wind. I don't mind the second one. I think I was a bit upset by the Gordon one because actually I really like Gordon.
Yeah.
And I think he's a really great guy.
So do we. Gordon, if you want to come on the show, please come on.
But the Marco thing, I think...
And Marco.
Yeah.
I'd like to,
Against all odds.
he can answer for his
He can answer for his
comments.
comments. He's got a lot of things to answer for. We're going to move into carousel quickfire. You've been absolutely incredible, Neil.
Okay.
But just some quickfire ones. Worst day you've ever had? Nightmare day.
Closing down the sandwich bars, I think that.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, being in the insolvency thing for that first time, that first lesson of fuck you.
Yeah.
What about the rudest customer you've ever had? You have any rotters?
Yeah, loads. I mean, like a million. I had one guy that flew down all the way from Yorkshire to see me in Great British Menu and said he travelled so far, decided to eat a burger and chips and complained there weren't any chips and put in a thing. And I was like, so you watched me throughout that whole thing, and what your complaint is that I don't fucking sell chips. And he wrote this huge thing. I just think most customers are a bit rude, aren't they?
People can be rude.
See,
I think people just
you
want.
did a burger without-
Some people, yeah.
You did a burger without chips, though.
There we go.
Couldn't cook
I'm
chips.
backing him up.
No, we couldn't cook. It was a special on a Sunday. It was like
Here
we
we
didn't
go.
do it all
Sorry.
week. We just did
Sorry.
a Sunday. We
That
did it
was
as a
me.
special thing.
That was you.
That was me. What's your go-to midnight meal? So after a shift, but you know, when you're working the long hours, what are you putting together in the fridge? Some weird thing.
Oh, in the fridge.
Yeah.
Well, what am I going to pick out?
Yeah.
Little treat.
A weird combination together.
I mean, cheese toasties and stuff like that. I tend to make, and a lot of loganma. I put that chili thing
it's
on fucking
unbelievable.
everything.
Yeah.
Like my wife, she'll make me a dinner, and I'll just be like, I'll bring that out. But like I'll bring that out. It's not a weird thing though. I think that's quite sensible. I think that's a
very
great
sensible.
thing to have.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And there's no judgment on her cooking.
No,
You're just addicted
100%
to
not.
the
No,
chili
but she knows. It's delicious.
Yeah. What are we doing, Freddie?
Locations.
Yeah, should we do some
Yeah.
locations? What's your favourite weeknight restaurant? Nothing fancy, just little cheeky dinner out.
Mango 2.
Nothing wrong
It's
with
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
Favorite place for a special supper? You going for a big old
Perilla.
Oh, nice.
It's really good.
Yeah, really.
It's
good.
really. I think he's one of the most interesting chefs in the country,
Yeah.
if not one of the world. Like his food is what my food would be like if I knew how to cook better. Like if I had the skills he had,
That's what
I'd
you'd
probably
be-
do something more
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I vibe with it.
Yeah, really good.
I'm just not that good.
Yeah, well, you are, but that's Go-to pub. You a pub man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say the Railway Tavern
Yeah,
because
gotta
it's
be.
Quite right
because
too.
it's great and it's local and
Grab a
it's
pub
right
and
next to
pizza.
me, and it's just got salt of the earth people in it
Yeah.
as well.
Good boozer.
What about a secret place, a little hidden gem? Can be anywhere in the world,
Oh,
if you wanted to. Can it?
Yeah, I think so, Freddie.
I think anything like it's not secret, but I don't know why Tooting doesn't get like
Thank you.
like Apollo Banana and Tooting. Go there, take with you a bottle of JB or a bottle of brandy. Order everything on the fucking menu. It is one of the best, cheapest, best
very
nights
good.
out you can possibly
It's a
have.
very good shout.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow. Right, take us on holiday.
yeah.
Little foodie weekend, long weekend. Where are we going? What are we eating? What are the spots?
Do you know what? I mean, initially you'd go boring. You'd go, all right, it's San Sebastian or something like that.
So often is.
You know, and I'm
have
not going to
done
do
that.
that.
We've done that
I know Edinburgh's, I think, the second best food city in the country.
Nice.
But I reckon my thing is stay in London.
Yeah.
It was one of the best food cities, I think, but just go somewhere different. I would spend Friday night in. We go to Richmond quite a lot.
Yeah.
Have a nice hotel room there. Go out, Chez Jules, have a nice French meal.
Oh, yeah.
Get a train to New Malden the next day. Book in at fucking Travelodge. Spend a day eating in New Malden. Sort of Woody, Yumi.
Imone? You an
Yeah,
Imone fan?
yeah, Ramone. So get your lunches in there. So get your little sort of mutton skewers and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and all that sort of stuff, and your seafood pancakes. Go and play some crazy golf at that. the one with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
You can also go to they've got the Krispy Kreme thing with they've got the proper Krispy Kreme thing with they come off the
Right under the underpass.
Yeah, under the underpass, but they've got the thing with it's like being in Back to the Future
Yeah,
or something.
it
It's
is.
amazing. And then go to Jingle J in the evening. Maybe stop off in the Weatherspoons and get some of that sort of like Bristolian cider that you've
Yeah.
got, and you can just make believe that you're in San Sebastian. Next day, take a train, go to Tooting,
Come on.
do maybe breakfast, or maybe go to Earlsfield on the train, skip Earlsfield because it's point. Huh?
Juliet's in Tooting? You
No,
didn't
I'm gonna go like Chaiwala.
Whoa.
Not the chain one, the original one. It does like the proper sort of Kashmiri chai, all the sort of little bits. Then, or you could go to Mirch Masala. It opens at 9 a.m.
Certainly
Does like a
does.
desi breakfast. Then go for a little walk, get your steps in.
Mm.
Maybe go to the Lido. Go to Dosan Chutney,
Come on.
or maybe like Sri Krishna. You know, get a little bit of that in. Spend your afternoon in the Tooting Market. There's that secret bar that does little sort of Portuguese stuff, and you can just get smashed in there. And get your bottle of JB. Go to Apollo Banana Leaf.
Fuck me.
You know,
That was good.
maybe get an Uber Lux on your way back home and go
Yeah,
back to work the next day.
treat
Thank me
yourself.
later.
That's
Treat
one of the
yourself.
best foodie weekends I've ever had.
Well, can we
described on
follow
the
up
show.
with the final question, which is what is your go-to three-course meal?
You do what you want for
The
it.
greatest three courses.
Do whatever you want, mate.
The greatest three courses.
I want to say sort of. I don't want to say like vegan-y stuff because I don't. But like, what is my? I didn't even think of this.
You'd have thought. You
Like-
like, on the pod. I'll have a think about it.
Steak tartare maybe to start.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just think it's great.
yeah, me too.
Main course is just like a really nice roast chicken with chips,
Beautiful.
like perfectly done. That sort of juice.
Like
If
the
it's
cock
like
used to-
rotisserie with that sort of juice comes on like the potatoes and stuff
You
like
must
that.
have lived near Lecoq, didn't you?
Don't.
I never went.
Oh,
No,
shame.
I'm quite right too.
I know.
Come
But,
on, let's get your pudding before we get teary.
Oh, we forgot to do the fucking meal.
What?
You've made him a fish and curry.
Listen, you can take that home with you.
Yeah, we're going to be fish and curry to go home with.
It's largely. I read that you like fish and curry.
I do like
I even
fish
made my
and
own
curry.
paratha.
I
but
do.
That's another.
Oh.
Friday's for another day. It's also
No,
I spilt
no.
it into my bag on the way here. and I
But the
don't
thing is, my
feel-
favorite food in the world is probably like sort of like Chinese, Thai, Indian, everything around
We
that.
got chicken
But
chips,
like
steak
the
tartare.
thing is I have that as a thing. Like if I'm a 3-course meal, I tend to go quite trad.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not questioning it. We're saying what's your
Okay.
pudding.
I don't really do pudding that much.
Cheese course from Shea Bruce. Come on.
I
just
like
give it one
you know what I like?
last
I like ice cream with some booze on it.
Yeah, nice.
That's it for me. Like, and it doesn't need to be. It can be like I like the sort of sorbet and vodka thing. I think that's nice. But ice cream, actually, with some Disaronno or
Yeah,
something like
beautiful.
that, just on some sort of vanilla ice cream, that sort of boozy hit.
Yeah, yeah.
So nice.
I just think that's a perfect ending.
Well, Neil Rankin, you've been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in. We finished off by saying, what
Fascinating.
song do you want us to play you out with? What a career. Good luck with everything. But what song?
What's,
Oh,
yeah, what
I
song?
don't know.
You a music man?
Any song.
I think it's the toughest question we ever asked.
I think it is a tough question, isn't
It
it?
is, but it's for today. For now. What are you feeling?
No, it's not the greatest song. It's just what song do you want?
I
agree with
mean,
you.
Don't Let Me Down by the Beatles right now.
Really?
Yeah, this is my mind.
You can go for that.
Yeah?
Yeah, do that.
Hard going to be clearing that with the copyright.
Listen.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best. We'll do
Thank
a
you so
live
much,
version.
Neil.
No problem.
Cheers, mate.
Unbelievable.